All right, here we are from TriYou.com. We are going to do our first YouTube video in a game we like to call Media Grab Ass. And the only rule, well, there's no rules. What we do is we have a list of products, books, movies, and music. We'll pull them out of the hat at random, and we have to talk for 3 minutes about them. We'll set a timer, and we'll see what we come up with. And let's start there. Somebody go ahead.
Wayne,
all right, I like that. Let's start the timer. You'll be in charge of the timer since we fucked it up last time.
By we, you mean?
Me.
Okay.
But I mean,
your relationship
that's a good thing
with Alexa was
yeah, tumultuous at best.
yeah.
She just tried to start an argument at the beginning of the video. By we, you mean you.
That's a good attention getter.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Wayne. What struck me, I think, very first was the music.
Oh yeah.
And they rip off the White Stripes for the main opening title. It's almost note for note, but then they change it right at the end. But then they play a White Stripes song, so I thought it's probably intentional.
See, my memory and music knowledge isn't as good as yours, so I have to look up a lot of the songs. I mean, not a lot, but I'd say half. Which is good too, because then you discover, new stuff. But the soundtrack was killer.
Oh, speaking of that, before I forget, Refused. A song called "The Shape of Punk to Come."
Yeah.
Which on TriYou, I had it listed in my top 10 in its first iteration years
Top
ago.
10 albums of all time.
Top 10 albums of all time. Refused made it.
That's punk rock, right?
Well, God, it's crazy.
Well,
I mean, they'll have some Coltrane. They talk about Coltrane, I think, because they have a little Henry Miller. It's almost heavy metal hardcore. They use some electronic stuff. It's just, it's a nuts album, but it's really interesting and just a great album. But anybody?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it is a great album.
Did you guys watch that together or separate?
Separate.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I binged it. It was good.
I binged it. I loved it. I
No,
can't.
it was real
Do
quick.
you guys know if they're making another season?
I would imagine. I think it had to be very popular.
Because the way it ended. Are we doing spoilers?
I wouldn't. Yeah,
No.
let's not do it on this. Let's not talk about the way it ended.
Because that just came out, so a lot of people probably
Right.
haven't seen that yet.
The characters in it were hilarious.
And now, did you guys think, even though that it was teenagers, that you guys lost any connection from it since
No.
it's about young
No, I
teenagers?
think that's a good question. I think that's a sign of a good show is because it's teenagers. I mean, I think Sex Education was the same. Where I'm like, well, I want to watch a show about kids having sex, but
I'm trying to think. This is one of the first scenes where he just goes and throws rocks and gets the shit kicked out of him
Won't
just
give up.
because he's
yeah,
practicing.
that's I think
Won't
the
give
first
up.
time that you see how much of a badass he is. Where he just will take a beating. I mean, he did it on purpose. Obviously, it was his dad's nurse's crummy ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, great. I mean, I never knew who he was or the actress that plays his girlfriend.
Yeah.
I think she's the best actor in the whole series.
The brothers were funny. The
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 twins.
brothers are hilarious. And then it brings in a couple more mainstream actors. I think the one guy was in the guy that plays the asshole dad of the girl.
He was
in Rescue Me, maybe.
Well, he was in 30 Rock but he was bigger in
I've never watched
an
30
HBO
Rock.
show, I believe.
I know him from car insurance commercials.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he's a
that's
big
him.
one in that. Yep.
Mayhem.
He's a pretty big actor.
Yeah, and that show is really good. We're gonna run out of
All
time.
right, timer is up.
All right, grab ass.
Somebody grab the ass here. Go ahead.
Hollywood grab ass.
King Khan and the Barbecue Show.
Oh, but no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to impose on your time.
No, you can pooch it if you want to pooch it.
Oh, I'm intimidated. We just listened to this yesterday, her and I, in her car, and that would be their self-titled album, which I think is my favorite by them, but I don't know. You said What's for Dinner might be your favorite.
Yeah, I do like how the self-titled album is very doo-wop. I mean, a lot of their songs are, but it seems like a majority of that album is.
I think I recommended that album on TriYou. I haven't reviewed it.
So the guy's name is King Khan, right?
King Khan and the other guy.
K-A-H-N. And then the
K-H-N.
barbecue shows his band. And
Barbecue
then he
shows
has
the other dude.
Oh, okay.
So King Khan, I think, has released a lot more, a lot more solo stuff.
So is that a
after.
guy or the band? King Khan. That's one
That's a guy.
And then barbecue shows one other guy.
Yes.
King Connie and Barbecue.
I've heard some of the music, and I was gonna go see him at Ace of Cups, but I didn't end up.
I saw.
And they were at Ace of Cups.
Yep, that would have been in maybe 2010. I know we were gonna go, and something came up, but
King Con had the band. It was King Con and the Shrines, and I saw them.
That's what I'm thinking of.
They're really good.
They
too.
were more kind of more.
I think they are a little more popular.
Yeah.
If you can call either one of those bands popular. He's got a song called Welfare Bread that's pretty funny.
That
King
sounds
Con and the
cool.
Shrines, it is.
The Mighty Defenders, I can't remember who's all in that.
The Barbecue Show, and I think King Con as well.
But then there's a couple other people.
Some people from Black Lips.
Black Lips, that's
Oh,
right, yes.
I was gonna go see Black Lips too in Cleveland at Beachland Ballroom. They played. I think we were gonna go.
I wanted to see them. I saw them open up for the Raconteurs. You guys both were at that show, actually.
I was there?
Yeah, that was when Evie was drunk and she called everybody a bitch and a cunt, all the girls that we were with. And she took a piss out in the parking lot after the show.
Must have missed
Yikes.
that.
And then she was my daughter's 8th grade science teacher.
Yeah, it was a great show. We got a minute left. We're not doing
That
too
was
well
the
on
first
this one.
time I saw Jack White.
Yeah.
Because that was at Express Live Outdoor, right?
Yep.
And then I remember that they were selling the huge beers. Seth was there. And I walked all the way from your house in Clintonville downtown to get to that concert.
Oh my
And
god.
I don't know if this was pre-Uber or why I did that.
I think
or
it was
if I was just
pre-Uber.
real stoned or what. But I walked. That was a good one.
Yeah, it was pre-Uber. You could have got a taxi.
It was like a 2-hour walk maybe.
Sure.
I could have got on the bus or a taxi.
Well, we should talk about if we can do any more with King Con. I don't have too much other than I like his albums really well. They're real lo-fi. I think they play junk instruments, but they're both pretty good vocalists. And if you haven't checked them out, I mean, check them out. We'll have them posted on TriYou.com. We'll recommend movies and music and books there, but we'll go on to
I'm putting them on my shelf for sure.
Yeah.
Alright.
Before we get there, at TriYou, you can any product that you want to remember, you can just put it on your shelf. It's a button, so you have it there in your pocket. If you're at a record store or even the library, or you just have it at your disposal. It's a nice little feature, I think, come in handy.
It's a great feature. I'm constantly just thinking that there is a show I wanted to watch and I need a new show to watch. I can't remember what it was called. And then I look on my shelf and it's there. So.
And it saves so much time, and it's a good way to remember anybody that recommends something to you. Can just put it right on your shelf.
Pop it on the shelf.
I'm always thinking about pussy. And then,
All right, pull the card.
all right, my turn. Raging Bull.
Ooh, that was in my top 10.
Was it?
Yeah, that was my Scorsese till I changed
Really?
it to The Departed.
I'm talking about the porno Raging Bull. It was. I made a auxiliary list. This number is my favorite sports movie.
Yeah, mine too.
And the way I did my top 10s, I wouldn't include more than one movie by a director. So Scorsese, I put Taxi Driver. It's just personally my favorite, very personal. But Raging Bull is probably just as good and just as good as the performance.
Yeah, I think I could have put Raging Bull, but The Departed is more recent, and I love it. Just a little bit better, but Raging Bull is awesome. Have you seen it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we actually watched it on
Thanksgiving, right? Was that your first time
First
seeing
time.
it? Okay.
I had a buddy that was larger than life, who ended up dying not long after high school, and his dad reminded me of the Jake LaMotta character. I mean, just the mannerisms, the way he talked, the way he smoked, the way he was just so tough, and I could believe Scorsese, captured that.
Well, it's not a real flattering portrait of LaMotta, and I did look it up for the last time. It's only the second time I watched it. It's one of those that's just so good. I want to have the dedicated time, and I want to think and see why I love it. It's something I should probably watch more. But LaMotta was a consultant on that film, which amazed me. And then they showed pictures of him later hanging out with Scorsese and De Niro. So he must have, just said, this is the way I was, fuck it.
So it's probably pretty darn accurate.
Well, I would think so.
And then don't they flash back and forth from him and down south when his fighting career is over? He's overweight. He's doing the stand-up comedy.
Well, not a whole lot of back and forth, but at the end they show it more than anything.
Yeah.
They show how De Niro lost all that weight to be the fighter, and then at the end he gained
Gained it.
all that weight
Yeah.
to be the you know, the out of shape older.
One of the first actors you hear of doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say that. You have like a lot of actors.
Now was that? I don't remember. Did that win any Academy Awards or Oscars or anything?
Scorsese had a lot of hard time. De Niro may have won it. That's something I should.
I think I'm pretty sure he won for Best Actor.
I don't think Scorsese won until The Departed for director. And there was like this conspiracy, theory going around that the Academy didn't like him, and there has to be some truth to that if that is the case. Raging Bull. This prior to the internet was around when I watched it, but you couldn't just find stuff out. So I'd heard about De Niro doing that, losing and gaining the weight. Christian Bale had done it, and The Machinist is another example.
I haven't seen that yet.
And I think Rescue Dawn, he did it again.
I got to shelf both of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about a heroin addict, right? The Christian Bale one.
Oh gosh, I think maybe meth, possibly.
Okay.
But I haven't seen that in about 20 years, probably. That's the timer.
Recommend definitely Raging Bull if you haven't seen it.
I should send a suggestion for The Machinist your way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
That's another thing you can do on the app is send a suggestion to any people that you follow or follow you.
What is that as far as we've done? Is that 2 or
3?
3, so we'll do 2 more.
Okay.
Yeah, 3. There's 3, I think.
Hollywood Grab Ass.
Hollywood Grab Ass.
We need a theme song.
Oh yeah,
Kevin
for Grab
Spacey.
Ass.
Spacey.
Archer.
Archer.
Her and I are watching that. It's a good one to watch if you ever ate some space lettuce.
Yeah.
It is, and you haven't. I've been recommending that to you, right?
Yeah,
Did I send it to you on
my
the
friend
site?
Mark. Yeah, my friend Marcus recommends it highly too. Which you and him don't have much in common, so it's weird
I'm
to me that
surprised.
he recommends it such highly, and then so do you.
My older cousin's crazy friend Bobby Hess, I think, watches it as well, which really surprises
So is the
me.
humor kind of all over the place?
All over, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of deadpan and there's a lot of like slapstick, but it's smart humor, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, he drinks Bloody Marys for breakfast. I think there's one part where he said, "I've only had scotch and 7 gummy bears today."
That's
I
cool.
mean,
That's
there's
a
stuff
good
like
line.
that, but the references are amazing. And the furniture and it's just like the coolest mid-century furniture.
Is it like a James Bond guy?
He looks like
So-
James Bond.
Well, speaking of the furniture, that's what's interesting about this show is I remember asking Rob because he had already seen it. I asked him, "What year is this supposed to be?" You have no idea.
Mid-century modern.
Yeah, but then
They have
there's
cell phones and
there's
computers.
technology that tells you otherwise.
So
but then there's like some terms and like I think Pan Am might have been referenced. So
Oh yeah.
I think so. That's kind of the thing is you don't know what you're watching as far as the timeline goes.
Yeah, they draw. The
It's really
computers
cool.
are like 80s, IBMs.
So they
They
mix
have
the
cell
best
phones,
part of
of
each
everything.
decade,
Yeah, that's
the
a good way to
coolest
say it.
parts of each decade.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example of a reference. They reference Buddy Rich and Gene Krupa, which are old drummers, which not a whole lot of people would know about,
Jazz?
right? Yeah, old jazz drummers. Krupa or Buddy Rich is going to be Archer's father, possibly. We don't know who his father is.
Okay.
But just to make those references, I was familiar with them because my dad had told me about these drummers. But I imagine there's so many other references. And another drumming reference is a scientist. He's into Pert, and one of the guys talks about John Bonham, and that guy's off camera, and he just because he's into Pert, like I said, you just all you hear is Bonham's a pussy.
Oh, so they're comparing Rush and Zeppelin.
Yeah, but just you even include something like that in an animated show. It's pretty incredible. I think.
love
It's
when
real
they
fun.
drop references, and then it's funny when you watch something when you're really young or read something, and if you go back and revisit it, there's so many more references you get
Oh,
as
yeah.
you grow older because
Oh yeah.
you didn't know.
Yeah,
you
a lot
know,
of
when-
sexual scenes as well. We're like, wow.
Oh yeah.
Didn't realize that was that.
Oh yeah, and they got their human resources lady is and she's a fat lady that tries to fuck male or female in there, and I think that the girl throws her a pity fuck in the episode. It's pretty nuts.
What is she
She's in HR. She's the HR person, and she's a one
What business is it?
for their like their little
Spy
spy
agency.
Oh, like
yeah.
Private Eye?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's like a private.
Like James Bond-ish.
yeah.
esque.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
But she's a funny character, and to put her in HR, because in one episode she's smoking joints with her dreadlocks, Rastafarian the whole episode. There we go.
All right.
Yeah, I gotta watch that after I finish Ray Donovan. which
Ray
I'm
Donovan's a
enjoying.
really good series.
It's kick
He was
ass.
picking.
John
This is
Voight.
our last one
The
of the
actor,
day
John
for the
Voight.
grab ass. Yeah, the actor, John Voight, the actor.
All right, here we go.
All right, hope it's a
Let's
good
get
one.
a good one now. Okay Computer. This is our first. Oh no, we had King Kong and the Barbecue Show.
Yeah, Okay Computer is. If I was going to list, I think I'm going to make a list of music I would like to listen to while high.
Yeah, stoned.
But Kid A's already on my top 10 list, so I'll make an auxiliary list of 10 albums.
No
No crossovers, just to make it harder and to put more product out there.
And then that gives you an opportunity to get high more frequently and listen to more music.
Yeah.
So you're, you know.
It would give me that opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a good reason to do it.
Well, you gotta have a job.
I won't feel guilty.
You gotta have a job.
You can't feel guilty about that. That's God's work.
Nah, I agree. Okay Computer, the title, interestingly enough, and I kind of wondered this, and I read it wasn't a great biography, but it was about Radiohead, and the album is from the Douglas Adams when he says "Okay Computer," Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
That's killer.
And that.
Oh, yeah.
And I've read that entire series
Yeah.
because you recommended it to me. I shelved it, read it. I haven't done reviews, but I recommend it, and I'll send it to other people as they join TriYou.
It was cool.
Because it's hilarious.
No, it's a great book. And their first album, which are getting a little off track, but on the same note, Pablo Honey. Never knew what that meant, but there's a Jerky Boys on their first thing, and they say Pablo Honey, come to Florida.
Oh, so
they named their album Pablo Honey after a Jerky Boys call.
So the Jerky Boys were famous even in London, in the UK?
Apparently so.
That's
apparently
crazy.
So, yeah.
I thought that would have been more of just an American.
And I mean, I assume that's accurate. It was, not just because it was written in a book doesn't mean it's accurate, but it seemed like it was to me.
I need to listen to that more Radiohead because they're so good. And I haven't
Kid A is a spot. Well, you got the 10 inch.
Yeah, I got the Kid A album.
Kid A is listed in my top 10. I think it's in your top 10. Which is
number 1.
Yeah, that's a great album. But OK Computer was, kind of when they're changing over to that style, and because their first 2 albums are, you hear it some in the bends. This is kind of like sacrilege, but I'll liken it to the Beatles. When they start going into the Rubber Soul, Revolver, and then I think Kid A would be where the Beatles went with Sgt. Pepper. If I could draw a parallel there.
So kind of a transition between pop for the Beatles into more
experimental,
and then for Radiohead more alternative / grunge with how they categorize it into more experimental.
Yeah, something almost their own category, just like the Beatles kind of did.
Yeah,
the Beatles certainly did. And if Radiohead, I think you say the same thing about.
It sucks trying to categorize and label everything, but it's easier to talk about it when
and it was what a time. It came out right when we turned into 2000 for a new millennium. What a perfect album for a new millennium.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's Grab Ass. Oh, we can't talk about Radiohead. See, we want to say so much more.
Yep.
How do we, anything else? Any odds and ends you guys want to talk about?
Roundtable. No, I think I'm pretty wrapped up.
Yeah, I think if you check out any of the products we went over today, I don't think you'll be disappointed by any of them. 1984, you can read that while doing bong hits, listening to Radiohead or King Kong, and I think you'll be a happy camper, and then watch The Archer.
That's one thing I never did. I never read it 1984 while stoned. That would be scary, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It could be. It could be funny. It could be scary, depending on what kind of weed you have.
I think what's scary to do when you're high in any capacity is jerk off. Because anything can pop in your head right before climax, and then that's with you the rest of your life.
That's a good transition into one of our top 10 lists of top 10 shower scenes in movies.
Oh yeah, we do have a top 10 shower scenes, and we did. We posted that on a previous video, which is probably worse than this one.
That's a great list.
I like the top 10 shower scenes.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
And I do think we still need to, and every single video and podcast, we need to somehow incorporate a hand job, and it has to fit.
Or Frances McDormand's Bush.
You mean talking about it, right?
Yeah, talk about a hand job, but it has to relate to a product, and it has to work. But if Neil wants to jerk me off, I won't stop him.
I won't either.
I'm just laying that out there. I will not stop you.
Terms of agreement.
But we'll stop there. And
yeah, go on, TriYou. Fill out your top 10 lists and enjoy. Cheers.
All right.
All right.